let's get this party started, shall we? We've got some visitors from the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area. Like I mentioned, they've kind of built the idea at Startup Weekend and have continued to evolve it from a team, building something that they're passionate about. And if you guys want to join us up here on stage, we can kind of get this party started. But even though it's somewhat of a smaller group, let's definitely get loud for these guys and welcome them to Des Moines, all right? All right. Have fun.
Thanks.
Have fun.
Get the clicker. It says clicker. Awesome. Cool. So hi, my name's Jay. I'm with BondingBox. And how many of you have ever been in a relationship ever? Show of hands. Ever in your entire lives? Yeah, figured probably almost everyone. You know, sometimes they have good times, sometimes times get a little boring, sometimes there are bad times, there are ups and downs. But it's those fun times that you really look back and remember. And what if there were a way to take those boring times, or the times that, you know, it's just the humdrum relationship, you know, you're sitting around watching Netflix, you're having a meal together, that sort of thing, and what if you could somehow, I guess, inject fun into that situation, that half an hour, that 15 minutes that you have together? Well, our entire team are in committed relationships. We have, what, 40 plus years of experience in relationships as a team. Same part. Yeah, which is, you know, in this day and age, pretty impressive. So we've asked ourselves, how can we inject fun into those little moments that all relationships seem to have, you know, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. And that's a question we've been asking for about 2 years. And it's over there. We started out at Startup Weekend Iowa City back in 2015 with a kind of crazy name called Sexy Life. We found out later on that's probably not the best name, so we picked a few names over the last couple of years here and had put it up to people to vote on it for us, and we came up with BondingBox. BondingBox is a subscription service that delivers date night at home to busy couples. So who are these busy couples? Sometimes they're like these handsome folks here. Have kids, may not have kids, may have small furry children that they take care of. But what they have in common is that they lack the time and the energy to sometimes plan these activities, or to just have the time to just have the 20 minutes together that you need to reconnect. And what we found through our customer discovery is that almost 90% of these folks that we interviewed just had trouble finding the time and just having the energy to come up with these activities themselves. So what are they doing now to try to alleviate this? Well, we checked out some of our competitors and they're kind of lame. They're really boring. They're not great. We got one that essentially was a $40 pair of tube socks with some really awful instructions. It's like, who's buying this? What? Why? So we came up with our idea. We're combining food and games in small little activities that people can do any time of the week. They don't have to find a babysitter. They don't have to allow 3 hours for one of these activities. They fit into 20 to 30 minutes. We're calling them Happy Meals for Adults. We managed to find little boxes that kind of look like Happy Meal containers, which was a nice coincidence, but they each contain a single activity that can be done in a short period of time, like this one, a cookie decorating activity. And we tested this and our other first beta activities out with people, and they sent us back some awesome pictures, some of which we can show, some of which probably not in mixed company. This was one we could actually show. You can. It was actually friends of mine that just had a baby a few months ago, and they decorated some cookies, and this was probably the most G-rated of the cookies. But they had a great time, and they learned about each other. And this is what's important with these things: spending small amounts of time, being able to learn more about your significant other. Who are these people that are looking for these things? It's what we're calling millennial moms. It's those moms between 25 and 35. There are over 16 million of them just in the US. And they're already looking for stuff like this. They're getting food deliveries. They're getting clothes delivered. There's so many subscription services now that there are subscription services. In addition, there are over 17 million near and current empty nesters, also looking for ways to reconnect with their significant others. So, like I mentioned before, those competition activities, really kind of lame, kind of boring, not what we're going for. We're going for the sweet spot right there in the middle between playful, emotional, and sexual activities. Playful activities are things like enjoying a meal or a snack together. Emotional activities involve talking, sharing your feelings with your significant other. And then I don't really want to explain the other one. You should know. How have we been reaching out to people so far? So, like I mentioned, we really like social media. All the platforms, we're at GetBondingBox, if you want to tweet us out. We're also have our website, and we've been sending out a newsletter every month, which I encourage everyone to sign up for. It's an awesome tool. So what are we doing with this? We have 4 different plans that you can that will be going live at midnight tonight. We just finished the website. We're going to flip the switch this evening. Anywhere from $27.99 to $39.99 gets you different amounts of activities. The cheaper you go, actually the more activities you get. So it's the better deal. Check it out. We already have 20 pre-orders from our mailing list, and those folks, because they're on the newsletter list, they're going to be the first to know when we flip that switch this evening. So sign up for the newsletter. So now we're flipping the website on this evening. We are hoping to continue connecting with people at activities like this through conferences, 1 Million Cups. Maybe we'll be awesome enough to go to some of the largest ones in the country one of these times. But we'll be doing that throughout 2018, and by 2019 we're hoping to actually scale out and have a decent number of employees under our ward. So it's not just David, myself, and Elizabeth holding down many hats, which would be nice. So BondingBox, we are a subscription service that brings date night home to busy couples. Check us out at getbondingbox.com. Social media, all of them at GetBondingBox. And if you sign up for our newsletter, you can get, I'll step out of the way so you can get a picture of this, 10% off your first month of your subscription when we flip that switch at midnight tonight, if you enter that 1MCDSM code. So, thank you very much.
One more thing to add. Anyone who signs up from this event will be entered into a drawing to win a free delivery.
That's right. So check it out. So, any questions? Yes.
Get things started. I'm curious how many people were involved with the startup weekend experience, and how did the 3 of you kind of bubble up to making it real? What happened to the other folks? Talk about that evolution.
So there were 6 of us on the original team. Is that right, 6? Or was it 7? 6.
7. Yeah.
Something like that. So everyone except for David, myself, and one other person, Chris, decided they had fun at the startup weekend. Wasn't really their thing, so they just decided to gracefully exit. And then Chris, our other, I think it's co-founder, he's an app developer. He loves developing apps. We're not an app. This actually was his idea, and at Startup Weekend Iowa City, I actually was elbowing him because he was like, I don't know, I should get up and do this. And I kind of forced him up on the stage to pitch this original thing back in its first iteration.
Yeah, he has like 5 or 6 kids.
Yes, he has a whole army of children, and this is perfect
really
for him.
Personable, and really, it just came across really sincerely. He did a great job. But basically, if we are going to have an app in the future, we'll probably say, hey, Chris.
Yep, he'll be back on the team and building that app. He's kind of our honorary 4th team member right now. Yes?
What are you guys doing in the ways of marketing and trying to better access and grow your base?
So, doing events like this. This is actually our first 1 Million Cups presentation as BondingBox. Thank you. So, thought we'd start it off somewhere awesome, so we picked Des Moines, and pandering to the audience. Yeah, so that, social media, once we get going, we're hoping social media word of mouth But if it's not going as quickly as we want, we're also willing to
Right.
do a little paid advertising as well.
Additionally, we are working with someone, a graduate student, who's going to help us, because we're such a small team, with developing a viable marketing campaign, which will include specific social media strategies and so forth. We have a lot of tools in place, just a matter of front-loading the content and then working with our partners and vendors to kind of scale out.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
It's just one foot after the other.
Do you guys utilize informatics for your social media marketing?
In what way do you mean by that?
As a formatted way of being able to see likes and engagement and clicks.
Yeah, so I mean, we're using whatever tools they have through Twitter and Facebook, and we use MailChimp for our newsletter each month. And they have the tools that we've found have been fine so far. But
do you get an appreciable ROI? Are you able to track that at all?
We have like what I would call maybe like a club or fan base from Sexy Life, and so we're kind of in the process of a little bit of education, a little bit of conversion, generating content to put that out there, to give people basically a better return on their investment with us too. So we're still pretty early on.
Sure.
But I have a marketing background, Jay has some freelance, so we have the pieces, just a matter of developing them out. So, we're really, really glad that we were able to find a specific subscription-based plugin for this, rather than trying to shoehorn a regular e-commerce solution in. So there's a lot of things like that that are just kind of coming into their own as we move towards that sort of, okay, we're finally going to be a business.
Because what you guys have is a very niche kind of service,
Yes.
but there's very much, and there has always been a need for it. It's just, I see you guys' service as kind of the current iteration of what has always been the struggle to address the needs of, and that's
Sure.
couple engagement and being able to revitalize, like you guys said, the things that define our lives. And it's a constant struggle. So I wish you guys the best of luck in letting people
Thank you.
know about this service, because I think there's a lot of value.
I want to speak to that. Like when our customer discovery did some deep dives on people, and I was really surprised at how many people opened up about their relationships to me. But what we found was that they want those like trusted, sincere, shared experiences. There are already plenty of companies that we're not directly competing with that offer like a thrill for a night, right? But there wasn't anything out there that helped you easily without getting in your face. Like go on a retreat, go see a concert, right? Ours is like just
It's very integrative.
Very simple way to integrate things that people usually find fun, like food and games. There's a good overlap with both, but some people like one or the other. But it's a very simple, it creates simple endorphins. It creates a reason for you to get together without it being too heavy. And
it's fairly organic too, because I know as someone who was in a struggling relationship, a lot of times external solutions can be met with a lot of resistance because the person or the people don't feel as if it's it's real or it's valid.
Yeah, that is actually something we found during customer discovery. There was kind of that, we talk about the sweet spot that we're trying to hit there. With relationships too, it's like there are people that are doing perfectly fine, and then there are people that are breaking up, and it's there's that chunk in the middle there is open to this sort of thing.
Yeah, there's still redemptive.
Yes.
There's still redemption in the relationship.
Yes.
I'm curious if like Match.com or some of these type of websites have paid advertisement opportunities. I'm assuming they do, but
I would think so.
Yeah, so we have a list of people like influencers and other partners down the road, podcasting, stories, columnists for advice, to kind of like show how important these relationship activities are to people. Just a little bit a week is actually pretty good for you. But yeah, we're going to definitely be scoping out more local first, and then going on. There's a lot of like podcasting relationship shows. Jay met a businesswoman at the conference who seems interested in keeping up with us, so
yes,
might be able to work off of that.
Yeah, hopefully that connection pans out. But told her about the idea, and this was over in Lincoln, Nebraska this summer, and seemed really on board with this, and signed up for a newsletter like on the spot, and So
Check them out at us.
yes, so that'll be a great connection there.
But yeah, like, we even have a friend who has a counseling business, solo counseling business, and we were probably going to be working with her as well as, at the right time, possibly say, you could try this. Yes?
I'm curious about like the actual content of the boxes. How are you like designing those? Who's designing those? And like, can you give us some examples of like what you would get?
Yeah, so like the one that you saw there was the food decorating idea. We have these themes that we build off in the background, and we test them on ourselves, right? So we have a card. This version has most of ours, in fact all of them right now, have a sweet and a spicy side. There are some people who like the sort of like, oh, you're my best friend, I love you, and there's other people who like want to go beyond that. So, and obviously there's in between, right? You can vary these. It's not like we're going to be watching. Obviously, make sure you follow these directions. These are suggestions. They kind of help people so they're not just sitting there with a bag of cookies and some icing. Like, what do we do? So we do have that in there, and in this case, you could draw things. You could put words on them, however you want to. And then the other one that we start out with, that was repurposed like a checkerboard or chessboard. And then we had on, basically on every other space, we had a thing that you would do if you landed on it. So ask a question, do a small gesture, all these little things that add up. So it's kind of like, you don't realize it until you're done, until you get to the other side, how many of these little simple things you could do every now and then, right? So for that one, the pieces are candy, right? The spaces are large enough to put, well, it's a
Reese's peanut butter cups.
Or whatever. So we're always trying to get that sort of sensual through the senses, taste, everything like that, as well as thinking, maybe not like, I'm going to write an essay, but you're going to think, oh, yeah, thank you for like doing the laundry, or thank you for remembering my anniversary, or sending me a card, whatever. All these little tiny things that go into making a relationship stronger, rather than one huge, here's a trip to Hawaii, right? So that's what we're going at. We're going at it, I'm a game designer. Jay is a game player and collector.
Yes, enthusiast.
So, and I love,
Dipping my toe into the
love,
pool of
like tabletop
design.
RPGs and LARPs and things like that. There's so many out there. You can do anything you want. And that's bleeding into the video game industry as well. So we're taking these sort of very simple concepts of play as a creative and engagement sort of thing that animals need. And we're just linking that in, these little simple gestures that you can do every week or month. Yes.
You mentioned, some of the competition out there really sucks. But what subscription services have you guys used that aren't necessarily competition, but that are just out there that have elements that you really like, and how are you incorporating those into your product?
So me personally, I don't have any. I love making things. So I would rather, this might seem weird, but I would rather like make a thing and send it to some friends or send it to myself and like that sort of thing as a designer. But I have a lot of friends who do like the food ones, small kid games ones, and I've heard different things about them, like this one's not so good, and I'm like, well, why are you still subscribing to it? Like, well, it comes in, it's easy. So what we want to do is we want to maximize that return on investment of their time, because we know that they're busy, they've already identified that. We want to make something easy, something that's pleasurable. And it's that like pleasurable response. You can build that into any product or service, and if we have great customer service, that's more likely to help spread the word. Even if that person isn't our ideal customer, they might hopefully tell somebody else who is like, oh, you just got a baby, but you guys want to connect once a week? Try this. Do you have any subscriptions?
No, I don't subscribe to anything, but I have talked to friends who subscribe to, clothes ones or food ones, and as we move along, that's actually a good point to kind of see what they're liking, see what they're not liking, see if we can kind of gracefully steal a few things as we move along.
We do like there's a makeup one.
Yes.
The clothing one's got like really bad reviews, not because the companies were bad, but because it was a hit and miss on a lot of the sizes.
Mhm.
That's a big issue in the clothing.
So quality control is what we took away from
Yeah.
that one.
And a lot of these other companies that we're competing with, what they typically do is they don't design their own stuff. They curate pre-existing items that other companies have made, and they send that to you.
Yep. Yes.
You just mentioned quality control. I assume you guys aren't baking the cookies, or
No.
so what was your process for vetting suppliers for the actual content?
Well, at least for our beta test, we just went to Walmart and picked some cookies and saw how well you could decorate on them, and ended up picking the one we did because it was shelf stable and didn't taste terrible. So
People actually like these cookies.
they do.
They really do.
The only complaint we were getting is they want bigger cookies.
Yeah, so they could
Which in the future we have plans to partner.
we have a local baker in mind,
Yep.
actually.
Yep. So
Now, you're talking about cookies and stuff, so you're thinking like having a local baker do it, and that means that you're going to probably have a shorter shelf life on some of that stuff. How
Yes.
are you keeping track of that? And then also, as you guys grow, are people getting repeat packages of things that they've already done in the past, or is this something that you're going to try to keep track of? Okay, I've sent them the cookies, now it's time for the chessboard, or it's now time for
Right.
something else.
So for right now, and most companies in this sector do this, everyone gets the same thing, like every month.
yes,
Okay.
say it's January, you get January's
Right.
box.
Okay.
February.
And what we
February.
found out, even during Startup Weekend, was like, people wanted to be surprised. They wanted to know the general, like, in the ballpark, but the specifics, they wanted to have that sort of like, oh, what am I going to get?
Mhm.
Like, that anticipation was really important to them. So us spelling it out exactly what they're going to get kind of took that fun away. But we have ideas, we just need to work it out.
We're just testing it with our people here
Yeah,
relatively
of
soon.
personalizing it more for the future. That's like, if we scale up to that level where we can offer that, we're going to have a tracking system with each member account saying
Mm-hmm.
this is what they got. It'll also tell us like which things are people really resonating with.
I was just gonna say, do you guys have plans for, like you talked about the personalization, for somebody to kind of fill out a profile, or like for myself, I have food allergies, so if you sent me that box of cookies, I would be like, well, that's fun, but I'm not eating those tonight.
Right.
So, do you have plans to kind of allow people to say like, oh, hey, I do have food allergies, so
Yes.
like, hard candies would be great, but don't send me cookies.
Right, that's definitely something that we want to. We have I have a lot of friends with kids that have tons of food allergies. So like, even if the parents get it, you gotta be careful the kid doesn't get it. So right now, we're doing very simple, basic, seeing if people love them. But yes, we do want to, once we get the scope out there, have alternatives.
So how many ideas, box content ideas do you have banked? Because, I mean, it's good, you know, you have cookie decorating and you have a chessboard and a little game board, but you get out 2 years, you've now got to have 25 ideas that are just as captivating and just as memorable.
Well, what I found from game design, has anyone played like poker, chess, or Catan or anything like that? You take the same general idea and then tweak it a little bit, and you can reuse it, right? Same thing with a lot of content. A lot of magazines and newspapers recycle things. I'm not saying we're recycling better, but what you can do is you can make either personalize or skin it or theme it and make it slightly different too. We've had people who played the game board one and said, I would love if I had a variety of these, where we just changed like the questions or the activities on them, and maybe we could swap them out. So there's ideas like that.
But we do have several original ideas.
Yeah, we've had fun coming up with them. We're in the process of ordering them, testing, make sure that if it is a food product, it's good, right? You don't want to like have a bad reaction
Yeah.
to it. The game ideas themselves are pretty much there. It's mostly testing the food component and seeing if they work well together.
Yep.
There may be some community building opportunity there by having the folks who have already plugged into your brand provide ideas, and maybe there's a contest or
Yep.
a reward, or it's named after this couple who came up with this,
Yep.
and including their story within it to
That's
unite
cool.
the community a little bit.
And
a
we
good idea.
actually, we did that when we were in venture school. We got a little bit of feedback, but maybe Sexy Life, the name was preventing that. But we actually, one of the beta testers provided the name BondingBox that we tested. So it's, yeah, we're going to look into a lot of social media engagement. We're going to have, you know, a raffle for this. So we have a lot of things in mind, just a matter of slowly rolling it out at the right time. Thank you. Yes?
I was kind of thinking along the same line as Ben there. You know, you put a contest out there, and maybe it's a free subscription, and now they're driving membership for you.
Yep. Yep.
Without you asking them to, because they're going to brag up what they've done and so forth. And then you've always got fresh ideas to the point where you've got so many of them backlogged, maybe to diversify your exposure using the monthly subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Now half of your consumers are getting one box first half of the month, and the other half are getting a different box second half of the month, so you can vet two different ideas for popularity at the same time. You got 24 cycles a year instead of 12 and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then won't they kind of polarize them, and some really like this concept and the other half maybe a different concept, so you can keep them engaged, because they're doing this on emotion, and if you lose them, they're done.
Yeah.
And, you know, trying to prevent the loss of membership also.
Right. So that's one of the things that we want to really be intentional about, is the feedback on all the aspects of contact with our product, whether it's the website or the product itself, and figure out what can we do to make it a better experience, right? Because we want our product to not be the thing. We want it to act as like a vehicle for them. We kind of want it to step out of the way so that they feel it. But they're going to hopefully look at our brand and our company and say, you know, that was really fun. I'm glad that we invested our time, our money into this, because it got us to do this other thing. Like, we can't make them talk, but we can say, if you want to talk, here's this thing. So we'll be keeping track of the metrics of, hopefully on social media and everywhere else, what people are saying about them, and then respond. Yes?
If this wasn't your company and you saw this pitch and you saw like this product here, would you be tempted to sign up for it?
I would be, because for me, because I like games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's like fun things like this, and with my wife, with my partner, she loves food and she loves playing games with me. So, I mean, I could go and play games with my friends or whatever for 4 hours, but we beta tested both of these things, and we had a really good time with the board game one. After a while, eating more than 2 or 3 cookies in one sitting was a little bit too much sugar for us, right? The icing is also sugar. But it was fun, and we think fondly of it, even though it was just like a thing we just did for a few minutes.
And it's definitely something my wife and I would do. You know, we have 2 small children, and only get, you know, sometimes 20 minutes between when we finally get them to settle down and go to bed, and when we finally want to go to bed. And something like this, as opposed to some of the other activities or some of the other companies, this is perfect because it just fits into that little space.
We've
And
had requests from people like, hey, can you make a version of this? I mean, obviously you're always going to hear, can you make a version of this that's more family friendly, right? If you keep it on like the sweet side, obviously, you can say, like, you're my favorite child. We'd never say that first, but you can do similar gestures, right? I really liked it when you picked up your clothes. I really liked it when you called me this name or whatever. So we're, again, long term, we're going to focus on the target markets, keep evaluating, and then potentially scale out to the other ones.
Right.
I guess after hearing you talk about that, like the game side of it, I think is probably the appeal, because otherwise if you're paying like essentially like $20 for a cookie set, like, I don't know. So right now I feel like there's a little bit of like a styling or something that is like, it looks like some sort of sex box thing with like red velvet and stuff, but then it's got cookies on it. So I feel like I'm getting mixed messages here and I don't know what it is.
Sure.
So I feel like there's an appeal here, but you kind of need to
And these,
figure out your style.
because I'm sure all of you know, as a startup, you like let's take this pre-existing thing and put it and just test it.
Yeah.
These boxes are just something you can buy at like Michael's. So eventually we're going to have a more
Everything's going to be customized.
interesting
And,
box. But we got some feedback saying that from people saying like the box itself, you know, as long as it looked nice, didn't care. They wanted us to spend the time and money on the activities. And that's another thing that distinguishes us from others, that we're making our own exercises versus just here's a pre-existing card game, like Cards Against Humanity. You play this. Yes.
So, yeah, looking at your website, like I really like that picture. I do think the black's a little erotic, and on the website, there's a lot of black that kind of makes me think of like, okay, I'm getting a dirty magazine.
It's that aesthetic, you know, that adult store.
And I don't say that from personal experience. But as I look at your website, the value's not articulated, and there might be in the words, but I don't really read the words. So I'm just going to look at the picture.
And that would-
I don't see anything like
That's
that.
the site that we're going to be turning off at midnight tonight.
Yes.
With the newer.
the new one has much more information.
Yeah.
So for a while, I had a similar type of business,
Sure.
subscription services, and a few things we found was the average customer stays for 3 months and then
Okay.
goes away. And so it's nice to think that they're going to last forever, but they don't.
No, we recognize that.
But also the marketing side of things from that e-commerce subscription, you really have to be able to articulate what it is you're getting, and they don't necessarily have to know that this month's cookies or this month's games or something, but to have some sort of idea is so important for people to give you their money.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Yes.
So I invested in a company that ultimately pivoted to be a subscription box service. So I'm going to have one view on this, but I encourage you to reach out to the founder. I don't know if you guys know Gary and Bob, but he have a lot of insight for you guys. From
He actually just liked their page. and we knew him from an event in Des Moines a couple of years ago when he was pitching his idea, and I asked him some questions, and it was actually very informative.
Nice. I guess so. I can give you some like insights of what I learned from his business.
Sure.
On the one side, some things that worked really well for him to acquire customers were unboxing videos. He got some YouTube celebrities that like put those out there, and I had no idea how much reach those people have and like how much they can drive their audience to do that. So if you can think about people that would be like people that your target audience would listen to, like that could be super valuable, even if it costs a little bit of money to pay them to open one of your boxes. That can be powerful. The other one that I was surprised by with him was Quora. There was a question, somebody asked like, what's like Trunk Club but cheaper? And that's his company. And so like that was targeted traffic that was going direct to him that knew they wanted to buy it. And so if you can find people who like, have tried your competitors or are looking at your competitors and want something more like what you're doing, since you said that your competitors aren't very good, thinking about where those people would be online and like how they could find you could be like a marketing channel to get in with those people. And along those same lines, I know you said that your market is anybody who is in a relationship, but I think that might be too broad. You should think about trying to figure out who the people who are feeling the hurt are, like people whose relationships might be struggling or they need something to spice it up. So it could be a content marketing thing where you're targeting Google searches for how do I spice up my relationship or those types of things. Or maybe you partner with people like marriage counselors who are dealing every day with people who have issues in their relationship, and maybe they could hand out their first month free of this and see if they can spice up their.
Let's say we're definitely on the same brainwave, because a previous iteration when we were still Sexy Life, one of our slides was, well, who are we going to partner with? Relationship counselors was right up the list, and there is at least one in Cedar Rapids that.
Yeah, there's the one that I mentioned earlier
Yes.
that we're going to be meeting with, and other people who have been in similar businesses to relationship counseling, like hosting sex parties and other things like. Yeah, this would be really great for like a different version of that, right? Or boutiques. So we've identified, because I'm connected through a friend of a friend to the fashion community now, so the startup fashion community. And I can think of at least 2 or 3 of those people to talk to directly once we have a stronger footing. But yeah, we're gonna be doing more continuous customer discovery to see where things are going. Because like I said, when people opened up to me about the relationships, I saw trends, right? And I feel like once once we get all the analytics, that we can start steering towards those and continue to validate those things. Because if you were completely happy, or if your expectations of a fantastic date were to go travel somewhere, you're probably not our customer, at least not at that point. But once you have kids or something else that keeps you kind of busy or homebound, a lot of people who live in remote areas were very supportive of this. I had a person, haircutting person, she's like, oh, I live out in the middle of blah, blah, blah. She's like, I would love this. I'm like, okay, I'll come back to you. So, we'll keep figuring it out.
To go off of what you said, mommy bloggers for
Yep.
sure would be a huge
Yep.
area for you guys to reach out. Talk to your wives. I'm sure they follow a bunch of people, and I think that'd be a great opportunity for you to, if you can get somebody to say, give them a couple free boxes or something like
Yeah.
that, have them test it out and write a blog about you guys.
Sure.
Yeah, that's totally, Chris, his wife, looked for ideas on Pinterest. And that's the millennial mother
Yep.
archetype. And that's definitely, we're going to be working on that. Yeah.
Something to give you a little more point of view, maybe, what if you split up the boxes so that you could order the sexy box or the sweet box? And that way, it's not the same, or maybe you still include both cards, but just see what people want more, and also there's just something about your logo and the stuff like that seems kind of split in sections. So I feel like maybe you could split things up there, and also I just, if you need a new name for the sexy side, bondage box, right?
My wife has been this was the least favorite name that we had for her. But a lot of people have said, yeah, bonding box. Like they can see it and laugh inside or whatever. But because it's about the reconnecting with your relationship, not the fun thrill of your relationship. So, but we're going to keep testing it.
And then actually splitting up the sweet versus the spicy, once we get the customization stuff set up, that was actually one of our ideas when we started talking about that, was to say, okay, you could move the slider all the way to the sweet side, or you can move the slider all the way to the spicy side. Then your boxes will be geared more toward that, or if you want both, you can still get both. So, great point. Yes.
So as we're kind of asking you questions, giving you feedback, it seems like you guys have thought through just about everything here. But I'm curious, beyond just getting the word out, what are you specifically looking for feedback on, or is there anything we can help you with?
I think what would help us is to have people sign up to our newsletter, and then, because we're going to keep modifying that well, and then give us feedback through our channels, through social media. We talked about our current website, which is fantastic. Help, have meaningful conversations, right, about the content. So we actually sent out a survey earlier, and we heard back from a person who told us specifically what games they play. That tells me right there what kind of experience, from that standpoint, that they're looking for. Their food. They told me what food that they like, about when they think of their partner. So information like that, continuous feedback on using the items, right, the experience, those sorts of things would just help us to be better at doing this.
Right.
We're not certified experts in relationships. We just happen to be really satisfied in those right now. But we realize that a lot of people, like at Sexy Like You, were very explicit about this, about being there as part of your lifetime of relationships. People get divorced, people die, all these things. So kind of providing a way to connect with people as their life changes.
Kind of going back to my earlier question about which ones you subscribe to, one of the reasons I asked that is, you talk a lot about social media engagement and things, and my wife and I just bought a dog, and so we subscribe to BarkBox.
Sure.
And in every one of their boxes they ship, they have hashtags that they want you to they'll send stuff to specifically take a picture and use this hashtag with your dog in this situation. Now, you have to be careful on the sexy side, it might get, but I see your heart in this tag, and taking a picture through that heart with the cookie in the background, you could do some cool things, and that you could have a different hashtag for the sweet side than the sexy side, and that gives you your, difference, which one are people using more, is your hashtag for the sweet side growing faster
Right.
than the there's a lot of things.
We
can
have the
do with
spicy
things
on,
like that.
is it Instagram?
Yes.
And then the sweet on like Pinterest. I mean,
Yeah.
having people self-select will tell us too. Yeah, I totally, like, I have a ton of ideas. Jay is a multimedia creator. So once we like, okay, let's make this stop motion animation, or let's do this thing, we're gonna do it. Matter of like, oh, we can work on this thing. But yeah, the unboxing thing, I was actually researching that the other day about how much this is a value to companies like this. So we have at least 2 or 3 people in mind that we would go to for an initial ask, like, hey, would you mind us doing this and working out some kind of deal? So yeah, I think that's all those great ways to sort of like give them a sense of like investment, part of the community, as well as to kind of like advertise for us. Yeah, we definitely are interested in that.
Okay, so I have a couple things. One, I think you guys were right when you first started to kind of talk about your audience, and it is for busy couples. Because like my husband and I, by the time we both get done with our 60-hour work weeks, we are not excited to go out on Friday night and go hang out. So this would be an awesome thing for us to do. It's 20, 40 minutes to just connect and not have to worry about planning an out night, not spending the money to go out someplace, because that does get a lot. If you put it in comparison, it's a lot more expensive than your box that you're selling.
Right.
So I think that I wouldn't discount the busy couples who have great relationships. They do want to connect with each other. They just don't have time, like you said. And then a box that I subscribe to is called Taste. They're a coffee company.
Okay.
And they have done the best with letting their customers know they care about them out of any single subscription I've ever had. Because every single time I get my box, I get a handwritten note from them saying how much they appreciate my business, how much they appreciate that I love their coffee, and my continued subscription. They send me personal emails on a regular basis, letting me know that my box is going to ship, and letting me know that they're excited that I'm still a valued customer of theirs. So those little touches have made a world of difference. It's not cheap coffee. So the fact that I've continued to keep subscribing to that is partially due to the fact that it's a really good product, but they do really care about their customers.
Right, so those are great. So we have a position, we're not hiring yet, but it's open. Member, basically like a member services person whose job is to like make sure that every touch point is that sort of sense of gratitude. Part of our philosophy comes from the 5 love languages and other similar relationship things, where those, again, is basically the whole culture of these little gestures, these little things that you do make your whole experience, your brand, something memorable and pleasant that you want to return to. So yeah.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to say. I don't know what we're going to call them, customer relationship experts, member relationship.
Customers sounds like you're making money on it.
That's right.
Yes. I don't know what your cost is per box. Do you have that figured out? Do you have different levels of subscription?
I don't know if we have that slide
I
on
don't think
us.
we have this in this presentation. We figured it out because we wanted, a couple months ago, we wanted to have 320 deliveries. So that would be 2 boxes per delivery based upon the monthly subscription. And so that would have been at the $27.99.
Yeah, so
2 boxes.
we are still making money at $27.99.
Yeah.
It wasn't something like 30 or 40%.
Yeah, it was the way that I scaffolded it out so that we're not losing money and we're able to reinvest in product development and marketing.
We aim for each box to cost us about 10, I
I think
think.
it was like 65%.
Yes.
Yeah, we were able to like really get it to a good point. That's why we're keeping with these small boxes. And our financial officer, Elizabeth, was like, can we get something that's a little smaller?
She's looking for every penny we can pull out of the cost.
She's like, get it. Yeah, like, I don't know if we need foil. I'm like, we need something that looks nice and nice. I don't know if we need that. Like, we need something that looks nice. So
Is
we're
that before or after shipping?
That's with shipping, yes.
Which is always going to be a potential
So how many customers do you need to make money, roughly?
Let's see, to get 320, well, we would, 320.
Yeah, that's where you got
At the time
320.
That's the number of customers.
No, that's what we're aiming for.
Doing
320
just a
doing
month.
monthly, so 2 boxes a month for 28,000.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's shipped every other Monday or
The
every other?
5th.
It's shipped the 5th of every month.
We wanted it would make our lives easier, so basically, we would try to get out the door on the 5th.
Yep, and it's just once a month for, if you get the $27.99 the every month, it's just the 5th of the
Yeah.
month, each month.
The
So it's one
unscheduled.
box with 2 things.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
Yes.
one mailing box, and then there's the 2 small boxes.
And then any,
Yeah.
with
So you
the,
don't have to open them both up at the same time.
yes, and that's the idea. You only want to do one at a time.
Yeah.
Because some of our beta testers tried to do both, and they got through one, and then they got in the second one, and they're just like, oh, yeah, I'm so tired. I need to go to
Well,
bed.
also, like, if you eat a bunch of iced cookies and then you eat a bunch of candy, you're just gonna.
You're going to explode or get diabetes.
Whoa.
So,
Values the experience.
yeah.
Are you gonna put like a perishable sticker on the one that contains like food items?
Yes.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
have
well, until
ideas
the
for.
months eat my cookies and.
Right.
Yeah.
The shelf-stable ones lasted a really long time and still tasted really good.
Yeah, they lasted over a month.
And most candy does too.
Did you try putting them through the mail?
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, our beta testers were ever from California out to North Carolina. So,
Did anyone complain about broken cookies?
nope.
No.
I mean, I
really-
spent some time practicing packing these things and
Foil, it's
kicking 'em
also
down the
a nice
hall.
Sort of packing material that just looks nice. It doesn't fall over the place like peanuts and shredded.
the best test for testing what's going to go through the mail, I have a 20-month-old. And just give it to her and let her bash it into stuff. And if it survives the 20-month-old, I think we're fine.
So do you know the demographics of your 20-plus who have signed up already? Are they young parents?
They're
Are
mostly
they-
the millennial parents.
Yes,
Yeah.
but there are a couple of the near or
Yeah.
current empty nesters.
We haven't sent as many to the empty nester segment because at the time we were still like, okay, these people seem to want it, and then we got a huge influx from a variety of things. So going back to this, I can go back after tonight, assuming the website works and all that still, yes it will. I can go back to the empty nesters to say, okay, you've been waiting for this, it's ready, here you go.
So your first shipment will be in October
Yes.
on those pre-orders?
Yep.
Yes.
So I have a couple of comments about your shipping on the 5th of the month. If your target is people who are like really busy, that might be a huge source of churn. If they get their box and they're too busy to use it, the first or second time they get it at that time of the month, and they're not able to use it, they're going to cancel. So that's like one part of that. And the other one is like if you get 320 boxes, shipping them all at once at the beginning of the month is going to be really hard. And then what do you do with all the labor that you had to hire to pack 320 boxes for the rest of the month? So spreading it out across the month might be
Right, this is
while we're still
we have the
small.
labor.
Yeah.
And so this is to put something down and do it. So it's not like in stone. And we've talked to a fulfillment company in Cedar Rapids, and they're like basically like whenever you want to work with us, we'll be happy to, and they'll take care of a lot of that. And their system is set up to have multiple dates delivery in like sorted lots. They can do customizable printing for labels and other personalizable things. They've got a great facility, so it's just a matter of like
Once we figure out where that line is.
Yeah, getting over that certain checkpoints on our list is proving that, okay, we want to go to the next step. So we're not just running all the way out there and then finding out, oh, we could have done this other thing, save some money.
Yep. Yes.
One other pro tip might be with your pricing, instead of like having it be based on how often you get it, if you could have it be based on how much they prepay for it, that'd be another way to reduce your churn and also get cash up front from your customers. With our company, we also do subscriptions online, and like the people who pay for a year at a time are so much more valuable because if they have one hiccup, they're not going to cancel, and also you get that money.
Right. So like this is the annual one that they sign up for. Based upon our customer discovery of what people become, we had a good number of people who just wanted to try it. So that's why it's a little bit more expensive to send out one box specially. And then these are like more like seasonal thing, but this one is like the annual subscription.
If they sign up for that, they're paying like $300 one time, like at the beginning, or it's just?
Not yet, no, we're not, we haven't set it up like that yet. But I understand where you're coming from, that makes sense.
I'd be happy to talk more about it, definitely.
Very nice. Let's give these guys a round of applause.
Thank you.